Season 11 has arrived for Marvel Future Revolution, and it's coming in with a brand new hero, new PvP mode, new companions, new Omega cards, and a lot of baby rage about nerfs to elemental damage. So here's a beginner guide at looking into Season 11, so let's get into it. The mutant known for his healing factor and his adamantium claws, Wolverine comes slashing in to become the newest addition to the roster of playable characters. They did a pretty good job with keeping to his iconic character design. His animations remind me a lot of the Marvel vs. games, just hugely exaggerated claw and spin movements. His costumes are pretty vanilla. We have the iconic yellow-blue X-Men costume, which is great. However, each other costume iteration appears to be the same.
Man has only one look, for Christ's sake! Blue Steel? Ferrari? Latigra? They're the same face!
I'm not particularly impressed with the costumes where his mask is taken off and he exposes his face, but I can see why it was done once you get to the special costumes. Looking at Wolverine's skills at first glance, there appears to be two distinct builds for him. The first build being around his debuffs, Rupture and Laceration. The Rupture effect decreases defense by 2% per stack, which opens up the Laceration debuff, which is a bleed and attack down debuff. Now the good thing about the Rupture debuff is that the basic attack stacks the effect, but the maximum amount of stacks you can have is 15, which is a max of 30% defense decrease. And the other build, which appears to be more about burst, is the Evolved Hunter class skills. There are only two, but both have untargetable effects, making them better in PvP situations. So one build for PvE and the other for PvP, which makes things simple and streamlined. Now this is just my opinion. In terms of picking gear, if you're going for a PvP build, I would say to go for the Evolved Hunter class skills, which is Sakaar, Savage Shadowlands, or Eyes of Osiris. And the PvE class for me would be the Swift Strike Claws class, because if you look in Wolverine's specialization tree, the damage amplification active trait states, when using Adamantium Claws skill, the damage increase only lasts for 8 seconds, but there's a cooldown of 15 seconds. So in theory, you're better off spamming his other skills and wait for the trait to come off cooldown. But again, this is what I think, and it's too early to tell. I'm sure someone's already has spreadsheets going and figured out the numbers already. As a final note about Wolverine, the devs decided that Wolverine and Scarlet Witch gear and cards can now be transmuted, which is great because people can now pivot gear right away and don't have to wait. Squad Battles is the new PvP mode. This mode gets the computer or AI to play out set battles for you. It's like a mini teamfight tactics. I'm sure it's different at the higher echelons where players have multiple tunes and regional gear, but for me personally, it's just set it and forget it. I'm just not strong enough yet to compete properly, but hey, more crystals, so maybe a little effort is required to get the best rank you can achieve. Looks like having AoE and crowd control skills set up beforehand are important in this mode. Which brings me to the companions. The two new companions, Baby Groot and Magneto, seem okay. However, they seem centered around squad battles. Again, anything with controlling the opponent will do well. MFR has brought in this super powerful Omega card called Veteran Agent. It gives you 3 bonus stats, which is really strong. However, the problem with it is finding the best 3 combination of stats. You have a 1 in 5 chance to be a certain stat. So when adding a second or third bonus stat, each with 1 out of 5 chance to be a stat, it makes it really improbable to get a good combination of stats together. Because you don't want to have a supervillain stat alongside with a PvP one. So maybe just be okay with what you initially have and don't look for the 3 perfect stats right away. Maybe having the first 2 stats align and just having the third one be whatever is fine for now. All I'm saying is check and see if you need to work on rolling some other cards before trying to find the perfect rolls on this Veteran Agent card. Hashtag Justice for Storm. So Netmarble decided to nerf Storm a bit by slightly reducing the iframes or invincibility frames for the Snowstorm Shield skill. And on top of that, the elemental damage stat on Storm and Star-Lord were set too high, so they reduced that as well. So I can see why Storms are up in arms, because as a community, supposedly the most powerful heroes at the moment are Iron Man and Spider-Man. and nothing was really done to either of those two in this patch. I think balancing is hard to achieve, especially since every unique character won't have the same stats as one another, and you would have to look at the gear of the Iron Man and Spider-Man players to see and compare how their gear stacks with everyone else. But of course you can't do that unless you fight someone on the same server and is in the top 100, so you can look them up, which makes adjustments very difficult. At least now you can spar people around your level to understand the matchup. Anyways, it sucks to invest and play a character that isn't as effective as it used to be. Something that I noticed, and maybe I'm blind, but if you check the special badge creation crafting station, there appears to be a new currency called the Epic Invasion Seal, which you can trade in for past seals. So I look forward in getting the epic seals to trade in because some of the special badges are really good. Like for me, the Magneto 6 badge, which recovers a percentage of stamina, is something that I missed out on. That concludes the video, and apparently there hasn't been any news about an anniversary celebration, so yay Netmarble. Until next time, thanks for watching.